Pivot tables are one of the most powerful tools in Excel, but beginners often run into problems like wrong totals, missing data, or pivot tables not updating. In this video, I'll show you 5 common pivot table mistakes and how to fix them. The first mistake is the messy source, and the second is forgetting to refresh the table, and the third one is Excel counts instead of sums. The fourth mistake, pivot table not including the new data. The fifth mistake is adding too many fields. Let's analyze these mistakes and what could be the solution for it. So the first mistake, messy source data. Pivot tables works best when your data is clean and organized. So in this example, you could see there are a lot of blank rows and the cells are merged and there are no headers. So there should be always a rules which is one row is equal to one record. Each column must have a header and there should not be any blanks. Let's fix this data. You can delete the blank cells which cause a problem while creating a pivot. And if you have a merge cells, demerge it and you can add the informations if you have, or you can gather for it. Like for an example, I can update this month as I know it's April. So I have updated it. And I could also see the headers is missing. So I can add this manually, like I can update this as month. So think of your data like a structured table, and that's when your pivot can look very professional, not be any incorrect data that is displayed. Let's move to the next mistake, that is forgetting to refresh the table. So let's create a pivot for this. So if you want to know how to create a table step by step, I've already created that in my YouTube channel, and I'll also link that in this video. Please check out. Okay, here you have a data. So say for an example, you have already created a table and you want to modify few things in that example. The phone was sold for 1,80,000 in the month of April, but this region was recorded as West initially. So now you want to move this to North. So let's modify the table. Now, if you see the pivot did not refresh, what do we do? So many beginners assume pivot tables update automatically, but they don't. So how to fix this? Right click and you have an option called refresh. Click on the refresh and your data will be refreshed. So whatever the changes that you have made for the current selection or current range, that will be refreshed here. So either you can right click on the pivot table and refresh it, or else you have an option in the data tab to refresh all. So just select this and your entire pivot will be refreshed. So you can also refresh this using a shortcut, that is Alt plus F5. Let's move to the next mistake, Excel counts instead of sum. So let's take a same example wherein we have a sales data and you have applied the pivot table. So instead of you getting the sum of the range, you got the counts. Like in this example, one laptop was sold in the region of East, but this count function will not give you the exact data what you're looking for. So how to convert this to a sum? Right click, show field list. So here you got the pivot table fields. So here you have an option for filters, rows, columns, and values. So now you have to modify your sales amount. So you could see here the value shows count of the sales amount. Now you want to change this to a sum. So you have an option for a drop down. So here select value field settings because you want to modify it. Click on value field settings. So you have a summarized value by. Choose the type of calculation that you want to use to summarize the data from the selected field. So now it is auto selected as count. So you can select sum or average, maximum, minimum, product. Likewise, you have a lot of options in this. Now, if I want to change this to sum, I'll click on the sum and select OK. So this is the pivot automatically extracts the data using the sum of the sales amount. Likewise, you can do the same for average. Click on OK. So you got an average of the sales. So I'll move this back to sum. So that's how you can convert your Excel counts to sums. Let's review the next mistake, that is pivot table not including the new data. An example, you have a data till April and created a pivot. Now you want to update the new data. So example, I've sold the laptop and this was sold in South region and the amount is 50,000 and this was done in the month of May. So you have entered the new data. However, if you click on the refresh, this will not refresh it, or the data you have entered will not be presented here. So the reason behind this is the pivot table will be created with the existing range that you have selected when you created the pivot. So how do we resolve this issue? Think you have a table. So before applying the pivot or before creating the pivot, let's convert this to a table format. How to do this? Select the data, go to insert. So here you have an option for table. Click on the table and this will ask you to create a table. The data of your table is in the following range. So this will confirm your range that you have selected and you will have to click OK. So it automatically converts to a table format. So now you can apply pivot table for this to an existing worksheet. So I'll take the same options again. Okay. So now you have created a table and from there you have created a pivot table. Now you want to add a new range, that is your laptop that was sold in South region and the amount was 50,000. This was done in the month of May. So if you see, as soon as you enter the information, the data converts directly to a table format. So if you refresh, pivot table automatically include the new data that you have added. So now new rows automatically updates to the pivot table. Let's move to the next mistake, adding too many fields. So beginners often drag many fields at once, which makes the pivot table hard to read. Like for an example, you have 100 rows, which might not be required to analyze the sales data. So we can simplify that by eliminating the unwanted rows. Like for an example, I have taken only the product, region, sales amount, and the month. So this is the required data for me to analyze the sales data. So that is when I have filtered it. If you want to learn pivot tables from scratch, watch my complete pivot table tutorial. I will link it in the description and subscribe for more easy Excel tutorials every week.